Hey guys, this is Colin, creator of the podcast that you guys are listening to, and I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder and thank you. All of the Seventh Valkyrie is done by fan support. We don't have sponsors, and what you guys are doing, whether it's listening, whether it's supporting us on Patreon, whether it's buying merch, everything that you guys are doing just makes me feel the love, makes me feel the appreciation, and it just drives me to keep moving and to keep going forward. So thank you guys all. Continue listening, continue sharing. If you're a supporter, thank you. If you've bought a shirt, awesome. They're actually pretty awesome pieces of quality cloth. And yeah, much appreciated. I will now get into the podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that theme song. Boom. Hey guys, this is the creator of the Seventh Valkyrie right here, Colin Sharp, and you might notice a few things different. The first is that this episode is coming out on a Monday, which is weird, at least historically, but it's going to be different because, and the reason this is happening is that eventually, in a couple weeks, I think, at the very least before 2024, we will actually start putting out the first episodes of Seventh Valkyrie Season 2, A Shattered Visage. Woo, this is awesome! Thank you guys so much for your support. Without you guys kind of being there along the way, listening and supporting on Patreon and buying merch and showing me that you guys are like, hey, we want more, hopping on Reddit and saying, hey, we want more of this, like, please, like, what can we do to help? I've heard it. It's been amazing, and we're getting very, very close to being ready. And I wanted, as the show is going to start coming out again, kind of the story itself, I wanted to have this podcast that I'm calling The Journey for the Journey, that is kind of covering everything else. So as you guys know, in these podcasts, sometimes I kind of go behind the scenes into a little bit of my thoughts on writing and my thoughts on political issues and my thoughts on creativity and productivity and, how and the business side of things. And I've taken bits and pieces, but I wanted to kind of give you guys a new level of access and really bring you behind the scenes of how this is all coming together and invite you to share this journey with me. So that way we kind of have, the series itself and then a little bit of everything else. How we're going to do it is I'm actually going to have only one of those kind of Journey for the Journey episodes out at a time. So they're not going to clog up the feed as we've got a bunch of new podcasts. But so one will come out each week, and then it'll go into the archive on the Patreon after a week, and then the new one will come out. And that's going to be kind of how things will happen moving forward. And I'm going to move a lot of the kind of extra podcast stuff that's not the series off of the current feed and into the Patreon feed. I've been hearing from people that they're like, oh my God, like I'm trying to listen to the show and there's like 60 episodes of you talking about stuff. Like, is this, do I have to listen to it all? I'm like, all right, cool. Totally get you. What we're going to do is we're going to keep the newest episode available live. So that it's kind of fresh. It'll be there right at the bottom. It'll be, in your feed, but the rest of the episodes will be kind of clean up and it'll just be, 0, 1, 2, blah, blah, blah in terms of the seasons. So that's what we're looking at moving forward, hence why this episode is coming out. And yeah, the whole idea is to give you guys, is to bring you with me and kind of have a whole new level of access and a whole new level of, of realness. I want to talk about, these weird dynamics of how I'm talking to you and I'm trying to entertain you and you guys are great, but you're also some people that I consider, in terms of like a business audience. So like that's a weird dynamic. How do I handle that? How do I file that in? How do I handle the creative integrity of this show at the same time as I am, creating it and trying to make it support itself so that we can do the bigger stuff, chase those bigger dreams. It's all kind of an interesting journey, and I wanted to kind of take you guys behind the scenes because not only is that cool, but also I actually have, 8 years in digital marketing and growing businesses and, launching startups and kind of creating conversion paths and funnels and stuff. So I do have a little bit of the chops to give you guys some of that insight on the kind of behind the scenes and the business stuff at the same time as you guys are getting to listen to the creative and fictional side of things. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys that heads up, and I'm going to stop talking now because this is actually kind of just a little bit of a forward for something that I recorded actually about 4 hours after I found out I had gotten fired from a job that I had no problems with ever. I was like, everyone loved me. I was working great, and it was just like from way above us, like corporate budget cuts came down and the hammer fell and I was gone. And so two things happened. One, I was feeling a little weird, and second, I moshed down a few edibles, which is not a usual habit for me during the workday, but I didn't have a job anymore, so it was a weekend. Anyway, wanted to share this little heads up with you guys to make sure I covered all those bits and pieces. And without further ado, I give you the important kind of impetus of this whole new journey. I kind of, faded Colin can get into it, but I kind of go into a little bit of where I'm going and the excitement, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. So anyway, feel free to enjoy that. Feel free to listen, and I'll talk to you guys for a little bit right after that. Hey, everybody. This is my fourth attempt at starting this particular podcast because I have been in a weird mood today. So as you guys know, I'm an independent contractor. I do a lot of stuff on the side. Or maybe you don't know. I don't know how often I share stuff like that, but I might be doing it more often. The reason being, so I'm an independent contractor. I have a lot of sources of work, but my main source of work just cut me off. It was part of layoffs, part of, they cut an entire division. They were really reshaping things. And, it's hard because I have a really long relationship with them and it's complicated. But they were a big part of my work, and they accounted for like 75% of my revenue, so it feels kind of like getting fired from a job. Anyway, there's like all these weird stuff going around that. It's just a it's a hard, weird thing to deal with, and also it's like all of a sudden I realized I was on the weekend and unemployed, because I don't have. My other two sources of work are a little bit more amorphous, and I don't have anything for like the rest of the week, and I can kind of really move those. Like the one that I really had that felt more like a real corporate job was this one. So I was like, fuck, now I'm unemployed. So anyway, I took a couple edibles, and I'm getting really high. I'm not there yet, but it's just about happening. Mom, I'm so sorry. I know, this is so there's a reason that I've gotten a little bit more personal, and I was just open about the fact that I got baked, but what am I talking about? I'm a creative. It's okay. We've decided that creatives can do weird things about being creative. Like it's not my rules. We've just decided as a society. Anyway, moving on from that. Now that you guys know I'm a little faded. And going back to the job thing, it was like all of a sudden I'm like, fuck, I'm on the weekend, and I was like, I kind of need to like switch headspaces right now. I just kind of like get out of it, like feel what I'm gonna feel, be weird, be wacky, and then it's like, all right, cool, we'll get back to the reality that I just lost a big chunk of my money, really soon, and I'm gonna be fine. Like I won't need to take loans out from my parents or move home from Costa Rica, but it was just a big shakeup. It was a big shakeup in life, like, and I'm sure we all have those. Like I have a friend named Aaron who got laid off, like for what I think was a bullshit reason, or I think she might have gotten fired. I'm not sure. I won't comment on that. But like, and it's taken her a while. But like, she's finding it's just a big change to life, and I'm excited about it actually, which is weird. But I did want to share it with you guys. I don't know. So I went and I played Hollow Knight for like an hour and a half, and that game stresses me the fuck out, but I love it. It's like Dark Souls, but also Metroid. Mom, you don't know what this is about. That's okay. But it's this kind of crazy game, and it's really high stakes because like if you die, you can lose everything, and like not everything, but like a ton of like progress. So it gets really stressful, and it's high. It's intense, and the feeling of progression is amazing, and it gives me fucking heart palpitations. Anyway. I was talking about getting fired today. Yeah, hooray. It feels like getting fired a little bit. But like that's actually kind of nice because it kind of jostles your life and you're like, whoa, shit. what's next? Like, I've got a ton of time and a ton of energy and a little bit of the the kick under the ass that you need, like, because that was a really comfortable job, and it was starting to get to the point where, admittedly, like, I was getting ready to like work more, but like it had been a couple months and I had barely done any work, and I'd just been collecting a huge check, and it wasn't that I wasn't doing important things or being a part of it. I don't even, who knows, but like it had gotten a little easy. And I actually had just wrote together a proposal for them to like do new things and make it less easy because I wanted to be valuable. And like I actually really like the person who worked there and I liked working there. Anyway, things were complicated. We didn't end on bad terms necessarily, or not at all. There's just like, it was a thingamajig and corporate and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, still haven't named names. Good. That was the thing that I kept accidentally doing in the first 3 or 4 recordings of this podcast. Because it's just, I didn't know it needs to get mentioned. Anyway, so now I'm kind of in this spot. I was like, fuck, I'll play Hollow Knight. Played that until and I'm actually, which is great. And Mom, I know I've probably disappointed you several times this podcast, but the point of this next step in the Seventh Valkyrie journey is actually, I'm talking to my mom, guys. The point of this whole Seventh Valkyrie journey and the next step is being a little bit more open and kind of, I'm going to explain this in a little bit. Sorry, everybody, just hold on. But yeah, Mom, so I just want you to know this is important to me, and trust me, and we can talk about this later. But you don't have to, just stay right there. No, Dad's going to be laughing. You're going to be like, and I'm going to be like, it's okay, Mom. We got it. Anyway, we'll get back to this. Sorry, everybody. Everybody else who's also listening. I don't know any of the rest of you. I just know that my mom listens, so I usually talk to her as my kind of go-to. Anyway, so I played Hollow Knight for a little while, and then I was just tired of playing Hollow Knight because I was getting heart palpitations, and I just started like pacing around, which I do when things need to change. I just start walking. I'm like wiggling. I'm kind of right now. You can't see me, but I'm kind of I'm doing this thing that my friends call the Wagga wiggle, and it's Anyway, I'm excited and things are happening, but I was kind of pacing around. I was moving. I was bouncing around, kind of figuring out where I was going, both metaphorically and physically, as I paced up and down my apartment. And then I kind of thought back to some things that Ellen had said, and then some things that my mom had said. And one thing led to another, and I started doing my laundry, and that actually really helps me a lot of the time. I'm like, just having something to do with your hands and your body, like when you're thinking through things. And I started thinking about Seventh Valkyrie, and I started thinking about what I could do with the time and the opportunity I'd been given, and I kind of thought, maybe I'll like give it another shot with 7V. And then I thought, okay, I've given this a few shots, I've given it a few attempts, and who knows if the next phase is me doing. Here's my idea. I had an idea for doing a kind of a series called The Journey for the Journey. And I really wanted to take you guys into the world of kind of getting behind the curtain. I know a lot of people kind of go on these journeys to become content creators. And it's kind of weird because, it's like, especially streaming where you're kind of the personality. It's a very popular media format right now. And people like hearing about people and engaging with them. And I like sharing my story, and I guess here's another thing. So, because there's all these reasons, and this is how my brain works. So you're gonna get just kind of an unedited version of this for a second as I kind of work through this concept. But basically, I was thinking about, because the Seventh Valkyrie itself is my passion project. Like the series, the Seventh Valkyrie is the passion project. A lot of the other stuff that I do around it can be stuff that I get passionate about, but mostly it's about promoting the Seventh Valkyrie. And for me, it's kind of weird because I don't like when the Seventh Valkyrie feels like work. But it's weird because it is a business, and I do have expenses, and so I'm trying to run it like a business. So it's kind of this funny, weird thing. But right now, my main audience is on podcasts. And I was thinking about, oh, well, how could I add another show into the series and kind of make it compelling to buy the Patreon, make it compelling to add value to some of my content, get to know you guys better. How would I work on that? And I thought about kind of doing a journal series. And that's not, I'm not the first person to ever think about that. But I don't know. I thought it kind of might be fun as I'm going on this journey. And as I was talking about, I was like, I could do a series, and then I could, set a goal of, let's finish this series, because now I kind of have it as a, what's it called? I sort of have it as a it exists now. It's a project. Like I condensed it from 17 possible seasons to actually season 0 through season 7, and I've got all the outlines done. I don't know if I've told you guys this. I got all of the outlines done and I've got it down to 7 seasons. And I thought it could be really cool to have a little piece on the side that was I call it the Journey for the Journey, where it's like a little me podcast, like my little journal, and, talking about all the stuff. It's oh, cool. What am I doing to build this audience? What's the business side behind these things? As I'm trying to because it's not only am I creating, and it's funny because you guys kind of are a part of this, where it's you are the listener and you are technically the product, but also I hate the idea, that idea of having people be a product. And I don't know, I want to kind of share the journey of finishing this series because and I realized there was a different aspect of it. Was I had always kind of shied away from explaining the business decisions that you make behind this, because I am a business consultant as well as being this creative wacky writer guy, and we do business plans, and so I have one for the Seventh Valkyrie, which includes you, who are a listener. You are part of the algorithm. You are part of the money that I want, which is so funny to think of. That's a weird relationship, because it's fans and there's this whole thing, but because it's not about money for me. If it had been, I would have quit this job, years ago. I guess part of it is just sort of talking about the journey of I want, obviously I would love for this project to be a successful creative venture, but I'd also love it to get to people and, I had a dream of watching. I don't know if I've ever put this out there. I had a vision in my head of seeing the Seventh Valkyrie series turned into a TV show and watching the finale in hugely epic finale. Sitting in fucking tux watching it and getting a huge round of applause. And I don't know that that's necessarily where I want it to end up, but that was a dream I had at one point. And now I've been through this journey for so long. It's been 10 or 15 years, and it's everything to my life. And as I'm, one day going to start a family and one day going to, I kind of wanted to document the last leg of this journey. Kind of seems like a cool thing to do. Now that it's kind of finalized. And this is terrifying the shit out of me, everybody. My heart is fucking beating in my chest, because for a long, long time, finishing the Seventh Valkyrie, the idea of living in a world where this was done was it was tantamount to dying. This was the infinite goal that I was just chasing after. I was the dog chasing the car, and I knew I would never finish it, or at least not until I was fucking 60. And then I finally condensed it down, and it was damn, all right, I got a fucking road to run. And maybe letting you guys come along the road with me will be awesome. And also, it'll help boost the algorithm because it'll double our engagement. And I'm hoping that it's extra content that's actually worth creating. And in order to do that, I thought, okay, well, I could do all this stuff. I could do bonus features. And I was like, you know what? The one cool thing that I could do is actually open up a little bit more into my life and a little bit more into the decisions behind the Seventh Valkyrie and behind, because I think that could be cool. And I don't know, maybe it'll be weird for you guys to see the creative process behind creating this artistic product and then selling it, and that weird transition from art to business. But maybe you guys will like it. So we'll call this Journey for the Journey number 1, J for the J, and I can make it a cool podcast, and I can invite people on and just have a good time, and it'll be great. But it's it's going to be just the journey for the journey. What's going on in my life, what's happening, how are we going to make it fun and exciting, how are we? Am I gonna fucking keep rambling about various political things because they really matter to me? And I think if hearing interesting perspectives on things matters to you, then I'll keep doing it. But if not, I won't. Anyway, random thoughts. But yeah, this kind of feels like I don't know. It kind of feels like a new beginning. And a very big risk, but also, so there's some things I'll have to pull off. Like if I can get some, I'll have to squeeze both of my other clients about getting just like a little bit more revenue source, because right now I'm kind of down to dangerously low. But if I can do that, I think there's some cool shit that could happen. I think that yeah, we'll see, I think. But maybe not, who knows? Maybe I'm just, like I said, maybe I'm just a couple edibles deep. I love you guys all. Mom, again, I'm so sorry. I promise I'm not a pothead. I just sometimes, we can talk about this later. I love you. Oh, I can see you laughing, and you're going, and you're going to be just like, you're probably going to, I don't know, you're going to be running when you listen to this, or you're going to be driving. And I hope that this podcast doesn't make you like either way, you're going to call me afterward, and I'm going to laugh, and it's going to be an amazing moment. But I do love you, and your little boy is very responsible, and I love you. And don't do this all the time, only when I get fired. Mwah. All right, well, everybody else, sorry that you had that, saw that very personal, weird call. Anyway, with my mom, I love you guys. I actually do love you guys very much. If you were listening to my fucking show, I love you very much. And here, I love you. And you can have a kiss. Mwah. There. Every person who listens, I know. See, now it was weird to them. It was weird for everybody. All right, cool. Have a good podcast. And there you have it. He's a real cute, dorky, faded man, that stoned wog. And we love him in his own way. He will not be making, hopefully, too many more appearances on the podcast. I don't want this to just be like Colin gets stoned and rambles into a mic every time, but I did feel like it was important to share a little bit of that with you guys, especially the weird, like me while high trying to explain to my mom why she shouldn't hate me. Anyway, we're all good. But I wanted to thank you guys for listening. This is kind of not really how the format will go, but again, I wanted to kind of share the impetus of all that. But in the meantime, enjoy your little Monday treat. The other thing is I'm going to record these like every Sunday. So I was going to even call it like the Sunday Scaries podcast, but I figured Journey for the Journey was a little better. Anyway, I don't really have much to say. There's been a long pod, so thank you guys for taking the time to listen. Thank you guys for being here along this journey. Keep an eye out for Shattered Visage as it's coming down the pipeline. I got an email from Zoran, my audio editor guy, and it's all so close, guys. Oh my god, I'm so excited. So I will keep you posted. Keep your eyes on your feed, and for now, here is the ending theme song.